And another issue that I like to promote is, we talk about the winery industry in Mendocino County and a tasting room. I feel that it would be something that, and I brought this up before, for the groups to look together about putting a tasting room of some sort from the north end of the county. Instead of being in Mendocino County, we tend to be the last on the list when people are coming up from either Napa or Sonoma County. There's a lot of tourists that come from Washington State or Oregon or even from Canada that come down 101 in a tasting room like in the Willits area or someplace. Then it would be the first tasting room that people, tourists come in contact with. So it's something that I'd like to see your groups consider, and I think there's some good locations there. I think that it would do extremely well, and it would give the Mendocino wines kind of a first shot at the people that are coming to the North Coast looking to go wine tasting. So I think it's something that I'd like to see your groups at least look into seriously.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Along those lines of focusing on North County, I recently had a press call on the Confusion Hill project and what that's going to look like down the road, and how does Mendocino County see that for economic development, the survival of those businesses there. And with our previous economic development director, I made a trip there and met with some of the local merchants. So along those lines, I think this would be a great next project to talk about either signage and or how one would go forward in a project there that would really highlight the entrance from the north, as Supervisor Pinches was suggesting, and the recreational opportunities there, the environmental region that is there, and the opportunity for any number of things that I think would be very good for our North County. So I think it's timely, and I've discussed it with the CEO, that we need to get going on how we focus on a feasibility grant. Who would the partners be? What are we going to look at? What's the big picture? Do we have to start small? How do we sort of move this along with either Caltrans funding or going through MCOG, or what other competitive grants are there? Because I think there's a lot of opportunity when that road becomes decommissioned and goes back into county hands. Any number of opportunities there, from picnicking to, trying to enhance and support those businesses. They're really trying to get themselves on the map for year-round kayaking, those kinds of things. So I really hope that's something that you can take a look at, and we could work with you to figure out ways to advance any number of things at the north end of the county. Thank you.
Okay. To the CEO's office.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Our office is continuing to work with Scott and his organization. Little issues pop up now and then, and we do stay actively involved. One of the things beside the Confusion Hill project that Supervisor Smith mentioned as a priority is I continue to get some correspondence regarding the Welcome Center concept, and perhaps you could share that with the board. Recently, Sonoma County asked for a copy of our county seal in a proposal I think they're working on a welcome center, and I'm just curious what you might have to share with the board for us on that subject.
Currently we're working, there's a committee working to identify certain sites, mostly in Ukiah and Willits area, for the formation of a welcome center. We're about to take a trip in the next week or two to measure those sites, the feasibility of those sites. We're involving Lake County, Humboldt County, and Sonoma County in the process. There will be an RFP coming from the state in late fall, which we will reply to. We'll be working hopefully with your office as well once we get more details and once we narrow it down to one or two sites. And we'll be, again, getting the support of the counties around us, as well as those on the state level, to hopefully get a center here in the county.
Thank you. I specifically heard an interest in Hopland as part of that email correspondence that was going on too. So, and that came from Sonoma County. So I think it sounds like we need to close the loop
Yes.
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
we're working to do that.
Thank you, Tom. Supervisor Delaware, did you have a comment?
Well, I did, Mr. Chairman, but the CEO addressed it, and that was Hopland being one of those locations. I heard Willits, I heard Ukiah, but I didn't hear Hopland. I know that was something that Sonoma, our friends in Sonoma, are also concerned about and interested in. So if we can not take that off that list.
It's on the list.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any closing comments from staff or from Scott?
No, sir.
Okay. I'll declare the public hearing closed then and bring the matter back before the board and ask for direction on the item.
I move the recommended action.
Okay, there is a motion before us. Do I hear a second?
Second.
And there is a second. Supervisor Pinches. Any further discussion on this item? Okay, hearing and seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you again. Continue your hard work to all, and let's put those heads in those beds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, board members.
Okay, we're back on track. Mr. CEO, would you like to do your report?
Perhaps we could do ledge first, and then I'll do mine. That'll kill two birds with one stone.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go to the legislative fiscal report. Mr. Kaler.
Mr. Chairman, board members, my name is Paul Kaler. I'm the Deputy CEO. Yesterday, the General Government Committee met and discussed a number of bills for taking positions on that are currently active in Sacramento. Just to give a quick recap of the General Government Committee's actions, they took action to support and recommend to the Board of Supervisors that the county support AB 1491, AB 2164, AB 3035, SB 1663, SB 1191, and SB 1204. They also took action to oppose SB 1617, which is the Kehoe bill, which talks about the state levying fees on the property tax for developed property within the state responsibility area. There is a hearing on this bill before the Senate Appropriations Committee on April 21st, and since it is an urgency item, the General Government Committee and the Executive Office took action to get a letter out on that bill directly and immediately. And Tom signed a letter yesterday, and it was transmitted to the State Appropriations Committee. The other bills will be brought before you on the consent calendar next week for final approval and action.
Okay, questions of the board or of the committee? I have a question in regards to SB 1617, and I see that it is calling for an imposition of a fee of $310 per residence in the state responsibility area, which number approximately 800,000. It estimates the fees would raise $265 million and account for 50% of the CAL FIRE budget. Did the LAO address fees versus taxes in this, any of the correspondence that you've received?
The Legislative Analyst's Office?
Yes.
I haven't seen anything from the Legislative Analyst's Office on this. The primary